Joining us now, New York Congressman Joe Crowley, chairman of the House Democratic Conference, I should say. Congressman Crowley, it's been more than 30 years since we've had major tax reform in this country. Is now the time to do it?
Well, let me first say how great it is to have Steve Scalise back in the House chamber. He just addressed the Congress, and Democrats, Republicans alike, we're all just so pleased to have our friend back with us, and God has saved his life, and it's been a wonderful day so far. I think when it comes to the issue of tax reform, I think there is agreement. Democrats and Republicans do agree that the tax code is broken. How we approach fixing it is the issue. And right now, I have to say, Democrats have not been involved in any of the negotiations going on, and you cannot do this in a partisan way. It must be done in a bipartisan way. I even think the president recognizes that.
Well, what do you think about some of the points that have been talked about thus far? Reducing the number of tax brackets, 12%, 20%, max of 35%.
Well, I think it's 12, 25, and 35. And then the president's folks said that if Congress wants to create an additional bracket, they can do it. I doubt very much that any member of the Republican caucus is going to actually propose an additional bracket for the wealthiest in our country, but that remains to be seen. There are so many holes that need to be filled in this proposal. We don't even know yet what the ramifications would be. Don't know how it's going to be paid for, with the exception of one thing. The deductibility of state and local taxes and the elimination of that is in all proposals so far. And that would be devastating to states like mine in New York and California, Illinois, Pennsylvania, and others. So I think that is something that has to be really looked at again.
But some of those are high tax states on the individual side. I mean,
they're also some of the most populated states with some of the most integral infrastructure and important infrastructure in the United States. It takes a lot to maintain some of these states as well. And so I do think, it's important to note that those taxes go to serve the entire people of those states. It's not about just helping the wealthy. And I think the difference here in this tax proposal, as I've seen it so far, the emphasis first is on reducing that rate from 39.6% on the wealthy to 35%. That's an enormous tax break for the wealthy. We don't know how that affects the working men and women that I represent back home in Queens and Bronx, New York.
All right, although, as has been pointed out, it would apparently allow, this proposal would allow Congress to set a higher tax rate if it chooses.
They won't do that. This Republican Congress won't do that. It's impossible.
Congressman Joe Crowley, the chairman of the Democratic Caucus in the House. I got your title right this time.
That's right. You got it right. You're good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.